Good evening. Today is Wednesday, August 21st, 2019. Commissioners Court is meeting for a public hearing. Item number 2, receive public comment, both proponents and opponents on the proposed tax rate for fiscal year 2019 through 2020 for the County of El Paso.
Okay, well, welcome. We're here for a property tax public hearing, fiscal year 2020. According to the Texas Local Government Code 140.010, the county may not adopt a tax rate that exceeds the lower of the rollback tax rate or the effective tax rate calculated as provided by the Texas Property Tax Code 26.04 until it has held 2 public hearings on the proposed tax increase. The tax rate proposed for the County of El Paso on August 12, 2019 exceeded the lower of the effective or rollback tax rates. All persons, both proponents and opponents of the tax increase, will be afforded adequate opportunity to present their views. Mr. Hargrove?
At this time, can we have a motion to open a public hearing?
Second.
Commissioner Bettis?
Aye.
Commissioner Leon?
Aye.
Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson?
Aye.
Judge Samaniego?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Good evening, Judge and Commissioners. Wally Hargrove from the Office
Good
of
evening.
Budget and Fiscal Policy. How's everyone doing?
Very good.
I have a brief PowerPoint to give you an overview of the current 2020 County of El Paso tax rate. But for fiscal year 2020, which is tax year 2019, our newly calculated effective tax rate is 45.0682 cents on every $100 valuation of a home. Your tax rate that you proposed back on August 12th was the rollback tax rate of 0.488997 cents. For information purposes, your fiscal year 2019, which is your 2018 tax year, was a tax rate of 44.7819 cents. In fiscal year 18, 17, 16, and 15, the county had a flat tax rate of 0.452694. For this year's tax rate, the effective, every 1% change on your county tax rate generates $1.9 million in new revenue. Every 1 penny change generates $4.3 million in new tax revenue. This is the 2018 tax table because entities are currently in the process of setting their tax rates. I know the City of El Paso set their tax rate last night, and I believe EPISD recently also had their tax rate. We will update this chart for you when we have the adopted budget and the day that you propose the tax rate for any adopted tax rate to take place. But if you look at the slice of the pie in the center upper right quadrant, the County of El Paso's tax rate, just under 45 cents, it represents 15% of the total average taxpayer's property taxes. Historically, you can see where the county tax rate has been for the last 10 years, starting in FY09, leading up to FY19, as noted. For fiscal years 15 through 19, you see that bar, that line on the top, rather flat. The 2 bars that are represented there are your M&O portion of the tax rate. The tall bar on the left-hand side of every fiscal year. The INS that you use to pay your debt service is the small bar on the right-hand side. As a percentage, the amount of your tax rate that goes toward debt in the last 10 years has averaged between 9 and 10%. For this year, it's also 9%. Comparing our tax rate to other urban counties, you'll see Hidalgo County, this is the 2018 tax rates. At the far left, at the high of just under 60 cents, with Collin County at the far right, just over 18 cents. El Paso County sitting on the second bar there at just under 45 cents.
Wally, could you hold 1 minute?
Yes, sir.
Judge, if you don't mind, for the education of the public, the acronyms, could you explain the acronyms?
Yes, sir.
We
I'm
know
sorry.
what it is.
I apologize. So, thank you, sir. So, M&O stands for the maintenance and operation. That's the portion of the tax rate that makes up about 90% of our tax rate that covers the day-to-day operations for the county. So that funds your general fund county departments. INS, as I mentioned, is for our interest and sinking fund. So that's what pays our biannual payment on the debt that the county has outstanding. We currently have $166 million in debt outstanding, a very low debt portion, and that INS 4-cent tax rate covers that debt. So this is the next to last slide in the PowerPoint presentation. As I showed you the urban counties that had higher tax rates, what drives some of those higher tax rates is the proportion of property tax valuation that we have. So you saw Hidalgo and El Paso County on the prior slide as having the highest urban tax rates. The correlation there is we have two of the very lowest property value rates in the state of Texas for large urban counties. So you see an inverse relationship with the property value bars at the bottom and the tax rates up at the top. Lastly, this is your 2009 tax year rates to show you what our effective tax rate is on the far left column, and the amount of revenue the effective tax rate would generate. Our average home value this year after our $5,000 homestead exemption is $128,590. When Mr. Nunez presents in your next public hearing, you'll see that their average home value is exactly $5,000 above the county of El Paso because they don't offer a homestead exemption. On the effective tax rate, if we were to adopt an effective tax rate, the average homeowner would pay just under $580 in property taxes. On the far right column is the proposed rollback tax rate. That tax rate is, again, at 48.8 cents per $100 valuation. And on a $128,000 home, that would be $628 in taxes. So about $49 above the effective tax rate is the additional revenue that the rollback tax rate would generate.
And that, but Wally, that includes, that number 628.80 includes the increase in property value?
Yes, sir.
Plus the increase in property taxes?
Correct. That is the combined impact of that. So the average home in El Paso County increased by about 3.01%. Overall, our property values increased by 2.49, but homes were 3.01. So that is a combined impact for change in value and proposed increase in taxes.
Also, Wally, you can talk about the disparity between homeowners and commercial.
So I believe I have that right here. So you'll see in this graph, the residential makes up a larger portion of property values on the tax roll. In El Paso County, being the third segment from the left, you can see that the residential property is quite a bit higher than the commercial property value. So the homeowners do bear a disproportionate share of property values and property taxes. That's just the overview of your rate. At this point, Judge, if there's no other additional questions on the tax rate as presented and proposed, we would ask that you open it up for any public comment.
Okay, and that's the case. We're opening up for public comment.
At this time, we don't have anybody signed up to speak, Judge.
Judge, do you have a question for
Yes, Commissioner Pettis.
Wally? Something that we discussed, was regarding the certification of values and where that certification came in this year, and CAD's, the Central Appraisal District's assessment of property and the amount that was essentially taken off the final certified roll. Is that something, I know we had briefly touched on it, but is that something your office is going to work on, looking at the historical losses after the lawsuits have been settled over the years? Because sometimes cases can last, 5 years.
Yes, sir.
Are we going to set that funding aside versus just, taking it out of the general fund? Or I don't know if we had fully.
So at this time, we don't have a set aside in the budget as of the presentation we made last week in the hearings, but we did have discussion as we would prepare some estimates as to over the last few years what that impact has been for a potential set aside. In years past, the highest we've had as a set aside has been about $600,000, but we haven't used that as of yet. Typically, refunds that are issued, if they're not significant for significantly large tax holders and don't carry on, for many, many years, those are made through the city tax office on an annual basis. This year, we had about $924,000 worth of refunds that were netted out of our tax collections as part of the contract. But we are making that assessment. Additionally, we're reaching out to CAD with the Central Appraisal District to coordinate that if there's going to be any changes in methodology or techniques that would impact subsequent years' valuations, that be communicated early on in the preliminary tax valuation process that starts in April.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And it's something I also intend to raise that on as a board member of the Central Appraisal District, so.
Because we had a significant dip that was unanticipated
Right.
this year that drove the calculated tax rate.
One other comment along, excuse me, along that same line. Please explain to the public that the county does not arbitrarily assess your value, that the value of the tax that you pay is derived from the assessed value, but who assessed the value on the property?
So by statute, in Texas Property Code, it is the Central Appraisal District, who is an independent body that assesses values on both residential, commercial, and industrial property. And the county and all other taxing entities within the community bear a pro rata share based on our tax values to fund the operations and the independent operation of the Central Appraisal District. So that is a separate statutory obligation.
The reason I asked you to explain that because a lot of people in the public don't understand that. They think, well, the county raised my taxes or the county assessed my taxes. No, we assess derive your tax dollars based on the assessed value that's done by an independent, totally independent
Yes, sir.
agency, being the Central Appraisal District.
Correct.
Commissioners? Okay,
Move to close a public hearing?
Second.
Commissioner Perez?
Aye.
Commissioner Leon?
Aye.
Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Robinson?
Aye.
Judge Samaniego?
Aye.
Motion carries. And this completes, oh, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Judge, I'm sorry.
You gotta wait for 6 minutes. You have to-
Okay, closing remarks. The Commissioners' Court will meet on Monday, September 9th, 2019, at 9:30 a.m. in the Commissioners' Court Chambers, Room 303 of the County Courthouse Building, 500 East San Antonio Street, El Paso, Texas, 79901, to adopt a property tax rate for the County of El Paso for 2019 to be collected during fiscal year 2020.
This completes this meeting at 5:55 p.m.